can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Hello, Miss Anasoli. Nice to see you again.
You too, Mr. Royce. Good morning. And good morning to all of our Goshio families. Welcome back for another one of our videos.
So, where are we today?
Well, if I take a good look around, it looks like we are in the wonderful Goshio Cafe.
Looks very familiar, same colors, but a little bit quieter today. We don't have our students yet, but we're looking forward to joining us as we begin the school year.
Absolutely, but we wanted to be in here today because even though it may look the same, there are going to be some significant changes that we want to make sure our Goshio families and students are aware of.
So what are some of the changes that we have this year for the cafeteria?
All right, well, some you guys are going to love, and some we just have to be real with you about what we have to do to keep all of our students and families and faculty safe. So the reality is there will not be visitors in the cafe this year.
So like mom and dad can't eat breakfast or lunch with me anymore?
No. So there's not going to be any special breakfast time, lunch time, no visitors at all in the cafe until it's deemed appropriate, which definitely will not be for the start of the school year.
That makes sense. And so I see these blue stickers that are on the floor. What are those about?
Those are actually really cool. So I know, Mr. Royce, you've heard this thing called social distancing, right?
Social distance?
No, distancing, social distancing. So think of it like this. This is my space, that is your space. And our spaces don't cross. I need my personal kind of bubble to be safe here on campus. And so what those stickers do is provide that spacing for students to make sure that they are appropriately distant from another student.
So what about checkout for lunch? And I know in the past I had to enter in my number. Is that going to be any different this year?
It is. Again, families, students, we want you to be really safe. So to avoid any of those high-touch areas, each student's going to have a card. Oh. That's going to be the essential kind of way that you're going to get your food in the cafeteria. The cafeteria workers will simply scan it, students will get their lunch, and on they go.
So I notice your card is on your lanyard?
It is. All of our Goshio students are going to get their own lanyard so that they can have their card, so that they can easily get that scanned. And it's also going to be a perfect place for when we are eating and we do have to take down our masks so we're not losing our masks. We can clip it right on there.
So my understanding that what we're looking at is a student would wear their mask through the line. When they check out with their card, they would come to their table, but it's kind of hard to eat with this, so what do I do when I get to the table because I like ketchup?
Yeah, I get it. And students, that's where obviously when we are eating, you will remove your mask, you'll hook it to your lanyard, and to keep our students safe again, we're gonna make sure that all students are seated on one side of the table and making sure that there's a couple seats in between us to keep us safe.
So I think I understand lunch, but what if I need to get a drink? Is there any sort of like water? I know we aren't using our fountains anymore, but what do we do for water?
Well, it's super cool. So over the summer, we've had a couple water fill stations installed here at Goshio. So these are awesome for a couple reasons. First of all, it reduces our impact on the environment because we're not all having to buy bottled water. They are in our cafe and near our PE, so students simply need to bring a reusable water bottle and they can fill up in the morning, during lunch, or when they have PE as a specials.
I notice as we've talked about the social distance, that we have a little bit of space away from each other as we're sitting at the table. So is that social distance?
Students, you're gonna have to help me when you come back to campus to have Mr. Royce understands it's social distancing. But absolutely, we are not going to be seated directly next to each other. Again, we're gonna use these seats as ways to space us appropriately. There's also another really cool thing for our students who follow rules in the cafeteria. So students, if you remember, last year, the golden spoon, right? But this year we decided to up our game. So Mrs. Baldwin had this amazing idea, and those winners of the golden spoon will actually be able to sit in our esteemed and very famous Goshio Cafe. It allows those students to have some booth-style seating and a way to reward them for excellent behavior. So those students would not be hopscotching in line on our stickers. They would be walking appropriately. They would make sure to keep their hands and feet to themselves. They would be social distancing. They would be sure to be sitting in their assigned seats. they would be sure to be using their masks as tools, not toys, and they would be incredibly respectful to our cafeteria workers, all of our staff, and our teachers.
So even in the cafe, we have the opportunity to social distance.
I know you didn't travel abroad this year, so students, help me when you get back. Social distancing, please.
So what about breakfast?
So breakfast is actually, again, going to be a really new cool thing for our students. So I know our students have heard of food trucks. We're going to have something very similar here at Goshio.
We're getting food trucks?
Well, sort of. Goshio style food trucks.
Oh.
So these are going to be mobile food carts that are going to be appropriately positioned in different areas of the campus, and we're going to have breakfast grab and go style. There are going to be more details rolling out about breakfast, but parents, what you need to know is we're still going to have breakfast. We're going to be limiting any kind of students into the cafeteria. Students primarily are going to be getting breakfast from these grab and go carts and eating in their classrooms. That's one of our safest ways to prevent large groups. And along with that, parents, we need your help. Please, unless you absolutely have to get to work by 8 o'clock, please don't drop your students until about 8:10 in the morning. That gives them plenty of time to get their breakfast from a mobile cart and get to their classroom.
Because our gates this year, parents, don't open until 7:45. And so there should be no walkers on campus prior to that 8:10 bell. And anyone who's getting dropped off, they shouldn't be dropped off before 7:45. 8:10 is a better time for parents because of the fact that it allows your student to be able to come in onto our campus, grab their breakfast, and go directly to the class instead of having to come into the cafeteria. It just is a smarter way to do it. So if you can do the 8:10 or after, we go until 8:30 each day, so that gives you about 20 minutes to work in. And we'll do our best. We're going to be unloading between 7 to 9 cars at a time. So where do they drop off their students in the morning if they're coming for breakfast?
Same place as always, right out there in the car line. That's where we're going to have staff who are going to meet your student. Parents are going to remain in the car. But if you come at that 8 time frame, a staff member will get your student out of the car. They'll be able to get their breakfast from their cart and go directly to class.
I think I saw in one of the earlier videos that we had talked about that we no longer do drop-off through the front office. And so, again, parents, just a reminder that the choices are car riders. If you're walking, you walk them to the crosswalk. We're going to do that in an upcoming video. And buses. And so that you have the opportunity for students to come in. So let me see how I got this straight. In the morning, it's best if I arrive at 8:10 to 8:30.
Absolutely.
On campus, it's important to social distance.
Oh, I thought he had it.
And then I grab and go my breakfast from food cart things, correct?
Yep, and you will have an assigned one. They're going to be positioned right near where you would go to class.
And for lunch, my teacher's going to give me my lanyard with the badge, and come in. I get to stand on my blue social distancing stickers, and I get to come through, and then I only sit on one side of the table, and we're social distance. And so I just want to say that sounds great. I think we're going to be a successful day. Parents, we look forward to you joining us again, and know that, not having visitors on campus is our district policy, so we have to honor that. And so as soon as we're able to get out of this, we welcome you back. That's our plan.
Absolutely. I mean, families, we miss you too, but right now the safety of our students and our staff is the most important, so we're going to do everything we possibly can to ensure that.
So, Goshio family, nice to see everyone through our lens today. Thank you specifically to another video by Baldwin Productions.
It's amazing.
And so, with that said, we're going to go for the day. Looking forward to see everybody on August the 31st.